And now, the one everybody wants me to talk about. Look, we've heard you about Saudi, but what about Heroic? What about Heroic? I don't know why people are treating this as if this is the fucking main event, but I've definitely got some thoughts and opinions, and perhaps even, as always, a little bit of insider knowledge. So, refresh your memory. I did a video about this. cadiaN was out at Heroic, and I was stunned, because I think cadiaN has been like the dream, the benchmark IGL in my opinion. Because sure, they might not have won things, they might have choked at big tournaments, but he's the guy who builds the teams. He's the guy who scouts the players. He's the guy that acts as a lightning rod at the events and draws attention onto him to help young players sort of, be away from the focus. He's the guy who steps up in performance in these playoff matches. He's the one who gets the land bump. On top of that, he has dealt with the Hunden bullshit. He's had his own reputation ruined. He was the guy that when the fucking team came around in the first instance, it was the FPX deal being scuppered behind the scenes by fucking Astralis with the whole ESSA tag thing. He bounced back from disappointment, potential retirement, and turned Heroic into, at 2 points, 3 points, the number one team in the world. You stand with that. And so when I saw the news that Heroic were cutting him because of some internal dispute, I was like, man, this is this is crazy. There's lots to criticize Heroic management for. This is going to go down as one of, and particularly with this news we've had coming out today, this is going to go down as one of the dumbest decisions that org has made. By all intents and purposes, again, as I called out, the logical place for cadiaN to go is Liquid, and for them to remove OC, and it's a twofer because you get an IGL and an AWPer that's a better AWPer than OC, and your Kindar can stop living out his fucking Saruman-esque fantasies of control and just go back to shooting people in the head really quick. And so it makes total sense. I called the OC move in that meme that I fucking put out, which, I didn't create the meme, but I wouldn't have put it out if I didn't agree with the content. And obviously, it's just a logically good move for everyone. So I think it's going to come back and bite them in the arse, because I think that Liquid team is going to be better than what Heroic are going to be left with by the end of this drama. And so, look, you played your fucking self. Anyway, we get to this news today. I saw somebody get added to the Heroic roster. Now, we've lost an AWPer, we've lost an IGL. Who are we going to go out and get for the rest of the year? dupreeh. I don't know, man. Seems weird. I also have to say, dupreeh, just as a pickup, is super fucking underwhelming, let alone as a temporary replacement, just so you can meet some contractual obligations. I don't even know how many tournaments are left this year. We haven't got a major to worry about, right? So dupreeh gets to go to Heroic just as a placeholder, and it's like, all right. But let's also be real. dupreeh was fucking washed for ages in Vitality. If Vitality hadn't have got that fucking piss-easy run at a major where everyone had sort of just given up trying and got like, oh my god, they're playing the new tier 1. That's what's happening. The Gamer Legion is a real team and Imma is the best player in the world. I mean, how did all these takes age, by the way, guys? When I was telling you they are not the next tier 1, they are just tier 2 teams overperforming in a weak scene because players have stopped giving a fuck because it's the end of CSGO, realistically. And Imma is a flash in the pan, one tournament wonder who isn't going to... I tried to tell you all. I tried to fucking tell you. But it was classic. Just don't fuck with the what about today, dickhead magic, because you'll fuck yourself every time. It will always be today, you see. There was always another today. And you will always be the dickhead if you fuck with the dickhead magic. How's your Imma today? How's your fucking Gamer Legion today? And let's also be real. This has actually set fucking Vitality back, right? Because Apex was washed as a motherfucker as well. Love Apex, love Dan. But when he gave that speech and said, all the criticism I faced, fuck you. And everyone was going, yeah, all the French were there, weren't they? Saying it, nationalism was bad except when we do it. Zoutalo, zoutalo. You're fucking all loving it, right? Apex should have fucking gone as well. And so you ended up, even in CS2, he's washed and terrible. It's over for him, but you just got to keep him, I guess. So anyway, dupreeh, it was obvious. It's great. He'll always be. He always ends up in some sort of weird, fucked up part of the GOAT conversation now because he's got the 5 majors. He won the most. And you go, yeah, but he ain't though, is he? And then we move on. But he is there now forever in CSGO terms. And that's fine. I don't know why anyone's signing him. I think this is like, meh, what a waste of everybody's time this is. It's like, and talk about players never understanding when to stop. Just stop. 5 majors. You're a legend. You got the money. You got a family. You won at life, bro. Like, you don't need to keep doing this. But there's always another bag. So players will just do it. And he's suck, and he's gonna suck, and he's gonna get criticism. And it's going to be not fun for anybody. Heroic are going to get a ton of criticism off this. Just silly, just a waste of everyone's time. But whatever. This is the news that people have been like, oh my God, Richard, please talk about it. So there was a tweet from Heroic today. And I was just like, what? And then I happen to know a few Danish people. And I asked around. And, oh boys. The spice levels on this one. Put it this way, Danny from Rate My Takeaway would fucking love this drama. It is certainly nicely spiced. So, we can talk about a little bit of it today. There it is, CS2 roster update. Heroic is sad to announce that cadiaN and Jabby are temporarily removed from the starting lineup. This situation was the last thing we wished for, but circumstances have forced us to make this difficult decision. After Pro League, cadiaN and Jabby initiated a push to replace cadiaN, which came unexpectedly to both cadiaN and Heroic's management team. Mediation efforts were attempted, but the situation was brought to an ultimatum where Heroic had to choose between cadiaN and the rest of the team. cadiaN and Jabby agreed that if Heroic let cadiaN go, they would extend their contracts. With clear intentions from cadiaN and Jabby to extend, Heroic amicably allowed cadiaN to pursue a new path. The same day, cadiaN and Jabby were presented with their new contracts. They communicated having made future plans with, who could it be? Astralis. Their Heroic contracts had almost 10 months until expiration. While handling the short-term uncertainty and planning for a long-term solution, Heroic's ambition is to bring cadiaN and Jabby back. Our performance staff have made a plan to support their potential return to the starting lineup. We are open to discussing transfers to organisations with a professional approach and an understanding of our players' market value. We aim to find a good path forward with a positive solution for everyone involved. Wellity. I'm going to start with the Astralis part, right? Because I just want to say it is a fucking disgrace that these leagues that you buy into allow Astralis to do this to a partner team over and over again. Let's be very clear, and I'll say this. I'm not going to cloak my language or hide behind it because I have reported on Astralis for years. I was there on day fucking 1, and I had your fucking number pegged. I fucking got you immediately through all the refresh bullshit, all the Astralis bullshit, when you wouldn't let players have time off and you worked them to the bone, all the contract disputes, all the attempts to fucking sabotage Heroic, all the Hunden files. I've had your fucking number from day 1. I can smell corruption. I can smell it. And also, you did it in a scene where you probably weren't expecting me to be quite as well fucking connected as I was. Oh yeah, you fucked up big time on this one, Astralis. So, I don't know how you, in good conscience, if you're ESL or Blast, and Heroic is paid to be in your league, I don't know how you can sort of couch this in what is meant to be a shared business. Esports is moving rapidly towards being an entertainment product. You're all in business with each other at ESL. It is a conflict of interest, but it's one of those that, like, it's a conflict of interest everybody lives with. Like the NFL. They all have a seat around the table with the league. They're all stakeholders in the league. They share revenue. That's the model that's applied for the Louvre Agreement teams. And so you're all in business with each other. That is why, by the way, when I released the Hunden files, and let's be clear about what the Hunden files were for those who didn't see it. If you're new to the stream, if you're new to what I do, go to my Substack, put in the search bar Hunden files, and go and look at what I got. These were sealed court documents that are being used in an ongoing court case that showed conclusively that Casper Hitt, who was the Astralis director of sports, was working with Heroic's coach to build a team, and that Hunden's first loyalty to was Astralis, to where he was going to get a job. And it's there in black and white, with all the text messages. Those text messages were put in the discovery part of Heroic's lawsuit. And so, as a result of my reporting, which, by the way, that was a spicy one, that wasn't a fun time. I had a lot of fucking threats, a lot of abuse, a lot of pressure to not continue with the reporting. Even HLTV fucking coming at me because somebody had edited a watermark out of a photo I used. And obviously, we all know, just so happens, Hunden's girlfriend works at HLTV. So I'm making an assumption there, guys, about what was really going on there. And so I was like, what are you going to fucking do about this? This isn't fair. What's happened to Heroic is wrong. That's why they're pursuing legal action about it. And lo and behold, once my reporting was public, ESL fined Astralis, and Astralis coincidentally decided, unrelated to the reporting, Hunden's words, not mine, to fire Kaspervit and Hunden. So, it stands to reason, if you are going to penalise Astralis for engaging in a conflict of interest and interfering with another partner team in your ecosystem, what qualifies as tortious interference? Now, I am not a lawyer, but I do know that term because it comes up a lot in esports. And so, let me tell you about what it appears to be, and because it's Astralis, if something appears to be that way, every time it is that way. So, you make your own decisions about this. But I know from talking to people behind the scenes that what happened was Yabi and Stown had 10 months left on their contract. And Astralis were like, look, it's not working over here. We're thinking about having a rebuild. Would you come and play for Astralis, essentially? And so, listen, I don't know how that conversation begins. I don't know who initiates. I don't know if it's just the players talking, because players are going to talk. But ultimately, at that point, Yabi and Stown were like, well, how quick do you want to do it? And Astralis are like, we'll do it now. Like, as far as we're concerned, we'll have you in tomorrow. And so, even though, right, like, it wasn't great in Heroic, remember, they'd had that terrible Pro League performance, I imagine the mood was low, there was no fucking indication whatsoever that they were going to make any roster changes off the back of that. And suddenly, there's a conflict in the team. And basically, what I have been told privately is Yabi and Stown did do the ultimatum, and they said to Heroic, you've got to cut cadiaN or we're not going to win. But this is the twister. They did that thinking there's no way Heroic would ever drop cadiaN. And then what would have happened was they would have been benched, Astralis come in, and Astralis get to buy their guys. But then you see, they even added, oh yeah, we'll totally sign contract extensions if you do it. With no intention of doing that. And so Heroic go, all right, yeah, we'll cut cadiaN. It's not worth blowing up the whole team over. And so anyway, they're like, fuck, we've got to stay here. Heroic get the contracts made up, and then they go, actually, we've been approached by Astralis. So we don't want to sign another 2-year contract with you. And so now, Heroic's got no fucking cadiaN, and no Yabi and Stown moving forward. They've got two players who just don't want to be there. And so you have to understand, here's what I'll add to this. Astralis is far and away the biggest team in Denmark. Like, I know Heroic have made inroads into that market. But Astralis, they want it all, man. You know what I mean? And Heroic, it's always them two beefing. Plus, people probably don't remember, Astralis and Heroic, back in the refresh days, Heroic was another refresh team that got sold off when I exposed that they were conflict of interest, and everybody just sold the brands off. But anyway, so I get it, by the way. If you're Danish, you want to play for Astralis. It's that simple. By simple virtue of playing for Astralis, you will be recognized in the streets of Denmark. I mean, the Heroic guys are too, but it's like crazy. I mean, I've been out in Denmark with like esports people, and Astralis, players, and way back in the day, and they are fucking mobbed. They are like celebrities, like same thing happens to Anders. Like people know who they are, and they get got. So if you're from Denmark, obviously it's like if you're British, you might want to play for Manchester United or Liverpool, or one of your boyhood clubs. You have that aspiration, and for Astralis, it's real. It's what they get to do. But this has just been a shit show. Stown and Yabby just wanted to be at Astralis. And I saw this, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like, what do you want people to say? Stown put this tweet out and said, gotta love the world we live in. What is the saying? Truth always prevails. Well, couple of things here, brother. And I like you. Again, I think you're a good kid and a good player, and I don't even begrudge you a move to Astralis. I hope you realise some of the biggest liars in the scene are Astralis. They've been caught lying time and time again, publicly, embarrassingly. Not a place you want to go to if you're a big fan of honesty. And while we're on it, and I hate to bring up people's personal lives, I just don't think Mr. Steal Your Girl has a fucking dog in this fight, bro. I think you sit this one out. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to honesty and integrity and matters of deception, maybe, just maybe, you got previous. So I'm just saying, bro. But anyway, I don't even know, like, what the fuck has sort of been allowed to happen here. But back to the heroic statement, this is fucking diabolically bad for the heroic team. They now have two players they know don't want to be at Heroic and are dreaming of what it would be like to be at Astralis. You've lost your legendary IGL and he's not coming back. I wager he will be making more money on the open market than you were paying him. And on top of that, you now aren't replacing one player ahead of a major in Denmark in May next year. You're now realistically replacing three, because best will in the world, you can't have two players who don't want to play for you. Players hold all of the power in this relationship. You've got two players, a washed dupreeh. This is really bad, guys. And no IGL. I mean, they even said, is dupreeh going to be the IGL? Is that how that's working? I feel sorry for dupreeh. Coming into this environment, he might not have signed had he knew. Maybe after just being in Astralis, the man's just made a steal. It's like, oh, what, a shit show involving Danish players? No problem. Here's the part of the statement where I also think it's spicy, because I love when Astralis fuck up Heroic, it's like Game of Thrones, and when Heroic fuck up Astralis, it's sort of like Mad Men-esque, or the Newsroom, or the West Wing. They always put little subtle jabs in their statements. And you can see here, they say, we are open to discuss transfers to organisations with a professional approach. And the implication there is that Astralis have tapped them up, and that isn't professional. And an understanding of our players' market value, which also comes to Astralis love the chaos and the disruption, because it means they can come in and get them for cheap. Because, as I said, the players are holding all the cards. All you have to do is play shit and say, oh, I'm big sad, play in a couple of tournaments, lose a couple of tournaments, ask for some time off, citing mental health. Astralis picking up the phone. Oh, yeah, do you want to sell the player for 200,000? I know it's not what you wanted, but it's better than him not playing. So all of the fucking cards are being held by the players here. But I will add, the thing that's always pissed me off about Heroic is they always capitulate. Astralis always gets what it wants. And when you're the person that's the decision-making, is you cannot give them what they want. You can say, I'm not going to sell the players to you. So you either wait 10 months, and by that point we're in a totally new game, right? And we're well into it, and you might not even be a good team anymore. Or you offer us the money that these players are worth now, and we don't fold this into existing legal warfare between the two orgs. That's how you play it, but they won't be doing it. So it seems to me just crazy that Heroic have sort of mismanaged this situation to this degree. And honestly, I don't care if players snake each other to get the bag. I don't care if players want to go and play for bigger orgs. That's the reality of sports. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that's trying to break down these myths. Like when I was doing League of Legends reporting in 2013, and fans were literally saying like, but there's no way that team would ever break out for better just over money. They're all best friends. And I'm like, guys, it's sports. This is how it works. 100% at the first instance of any disagreement of that nature, they should have backed the guy that basically fucking built the team and has been loyal to the org since he got there, and that's cadiaN. You think cadiaN never got offers to join other teams, by the way? Because I can tell you he did. And I can tell you every time he stuck with Heroic and he stuck with the project that he was being fucking told to build for this organisation. And when the minute they didn't back him, they sort of deserved this, frankly. I'm not even sort of mad at the players. But, you know, that's what went down. It was some more fucked up political Danish scene drama involving everyone's favourite two orgs from that space. Even though Heroic are technically Norwegian now. I'll also just add to this point, when Stown had personal issues and the Hunden stuff was getting on top of him as well, cadiaN really looked after him. And Jabby, remember when Jabby joined Heroic? cadiaN was the guy who told everyone he was going to be really good when the world was like, nah, Jabby, he's shit. What have you picked up Jabby for? As if we're going to win anything now. cadiaN was the guy who came out and said, Jabby's better than anybody knows. No. Gassing them all up. And then you fucking snake him just so you can get the bag? That is some bullshit, actually. That is some fucking bullshit. Listen, just own it. Don't go on Twitter saying people are lying about it. Don't say your org fucking lied about it. Just own what you did. And you want to get a better deal for yourself. It's business. It's just business, as Connor would say.